at the Crucible.
Hello, a very good morning to you. Welcome back to the Crucible Theatre in Sheffield. It is day 4 of the 2017 Betfred World Snooker Championship, and what a night we had last night. Marco Fu, from 7-2 down, beat the Belgian qualifier Luca Bressel 10-9 in a final frame decider. Now the attention this morning turns to John Higgins, 4-time world champion, looking to book his place in the last 16. Already we've seen Stuart Bingham, Ronnie O'Sullivan, Mark Selby go through to the last 16, and now John Higgins is looking to join them. Just 3 frames needed. We'll see him go through to the second round. And Martin Gould has a real job on his hands, and also available on the red button this morning for you, Liang Wenbo starts his campaign against Stuart Carrington. John Parrott is with me in the practice room this morning, and John, it's one of those mornings that we love at the Crucible Theatre, because as you walk here, everybody is still talking about Marco Fu's phenomenal performance last night.
Well, it was remarkable because it's a turnaround in form. You know, it was a stark contrast to the night before when he literally couldn't pot a ball. I mean, the first 4 frames of that match, he'd potted 8 balls in it, which is so unusual for him. He's been in scintillating form all year, and to turn it round yesterday and to come back from that scoreline, it was actually 7-1 in that match. He won the last frame of the session before.
Yes, of course.
So to come back and win is incredible. I feel sorry for Luca. He had a couple of little things went wrong in that match, and when someone starts coming back at you, all your chances seem to be awkward and everything seems to magnify. But what a performance. And Marco Fu was quite animated for him there.
Yes, he was. World number 8, and it's very unusual. He is one of the most composed players on the circuit, and we rarely see Marco show that type of relief at the end of it. But that's purely because, John, you were in studio the night before. He couldn't pot a ball, and last night he was just absolutely magnificent.
Yeah, and he got what he needed, which was a really good start winning those first couple of frames. And it just shows you, as I say, Jason, he'd probably be thinking he'd be sitting at home watching the rest of the championship, and now he's still in it, and he's through that hard first round, and who knows where he can go from there. If
you're Luca Bressel this morning, you wake up and think, how on earth did I lose that? Will that affect him going forward?
It'll hurt for a couple of weeks. Obviously, it's not one you want to have on your CV, but he'll forget about it in a couple of weeks.
OK, so Marco Fu through, and you really can't see Martin Gould doing the same this morning, can you?
No, it's funny the way the draw came out. Everyone said, oh, it's a tough draw for John Higgins, but it was a really tough draw for Martin Gould as well. I've played John Higgins here, and trust me, it's a stern examination at the best of times, but his match play is superb. As you mentioned, 4 times a winner. You know, every time you play him here, it's a headache, and John Higgins has played really well in this match.
There he is. These are live pictures backstage. You just had a little chat with him. Is he feeling good this morning?
Oh, he's in great spirits. Yeah, we're having a little chat, and he backed the winner of the Gold Cup, so he's telling me he was delighted about that. So he's yeah, we're having the chat. Obviously, it was called Sergeant John, just for information, so that's why he backed it. But yeah, he's in good spirits. He's playing well. Looking forward to the tournament. And interestingly, before he came here, he did a little press release, and he was just saying how well he was playing. And it's not like John. He usually keeps that, you know, to himself.
Yeah, well, it is amazing considering just a few years ago there was all sorts of talk. I think John himself in a news conference thought about possibly packing it in. But all eyes today on the 4-time world champion.
Crisps. I mean, that's my downfall now. Big bag of sensations or something now. Sitting watching the TV. That's my guiltiest pleasure, I suppose. Yet Robbie Coltrane, maybe the Scottish actor, a football player. Used to want to play for Celtic, so that was my childhood dream. Easy going, you say, snoring on planes, bad at that. Took her away to Paris for a birthday, so I suppose that would be pretty romantic. Sunday dinner, Sunday roast and all the trimmings, that would be it, yeah. I'd love to go to San Francisco, never been there. That would be a city. Hopefully I can visit now sooner rather than later. I loved the American Civil War time. And one of my favourite programmes when I was younger growing up was North and South, where like young Patrick Swayze and things, and yeah, that fascinated me, that the Civil War time then. Pamela Ewan from Dallas. That was my woman.
That is Mr. John Higgins. 7 breaks over 50 in the first session. It's a real tough task facing Martin Gould this morning. He beat Judd Trump in 2011, John Higgins winning 18-15 to lift the title, then got knocked in the second round, then first round, second round, quarterfinals in 2016. Is this the year he makes another Crucible final? We shall find out. That's our live match for you this morning here on BBC Two. If you want Liang Wenbo against Stuart Carrington, that's available on the red button. And throughout the Crucible coverage here on the BBC, all the matches are available on the BBC Sport app. You can choose either Table 1 or Table 2. Let's say a very good morning to Rob Walker.
Thanks, Jason. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. After that fabulous fight back last night, he has proved that there is almost no such thing as an irretrievable deficit here at the Crucible. After a brilliant Easter weekend of action, let's turn our thoughts to day 4 here at the Betfred World Snooker Championship. Please welcome a player returning here for the second time after a superb win over double world champion Mark Williams on Wednesday. He also enjoyed a great run to the quarterfinals at this season's Welsh Open. His granddad, Big John, is here in the crowd as always. Here comes Grimsby's Stuart Carrington.
Up the Mariners, we're gonna win the cup one day. Up the Mariners.
And his opponents back for a 6th Crucible campaign, 9 years after making the quarters on his debut. UK Championship runner-up last season, he won his first ranking title in October, beating Judd Trump to the English Open title. Here comes a player who always wears his heart on his sleeve. That's why we call him the Firecracker, Liang Wenbo. On Table 2, here comes a player returning for an 8th Crucible campaign after coming through qualifying in fine style. His century in the penultimate frame yesterday showed a glimpse of the talent that took him to the German Masters title last season. He will give it absolutely everything this morning, so let's hear it for the Pinner Potter, Martin Gould.
Time to play the game.
And his opponents bidding for a 19th appearance in the second round here at the Crucible, arriving in fabulous form, producing a break of at least 50 in every single one of the 7 frames he won yesterday. He is without doubt one of the finest sportsmen Scotland has ever produced. 4 times a champion of the world, the Wizard of Wishaw, he's John Higgins.
Fabulous little bit of Ricky Ross and Dignity and Deacon Blue there. It's a busy day here at the Crucible for us on the BBC. Ding Junhui, Zhou Wei Long at 2:30. Judd Trump, we will see him for the very first time taking on Rory McLeod. Those matches at 2:30. And then at 7 o'clock tonight, Ali Carter begins his campaign against another former world champion, Graham Dott. In the meantime, a very good morning to John Virgo and John Parrott.
Good morning, Jason, and good morning, everybody. As Martin Gould gets his second session underway, 5-frame deficit against someone like John Higgins. He's going to be hard to pull back, JP.
Yeah, you would think so, John. One of the best match players the game's ever seen. And still, well, he's approaching 42 years of age. All his snookering faculties are still there, still a very good scorer. Excellent break builder. Surprisingly, in the last year or so, I think his long games actually got better. It was looking a little bit like it was on the wane, but that's improved immeasurably, so he's found something. And he never gives you anything easy, John Higgins. You've got to earn your corn.
There's only been one century break in this match. If we look at the average shot time, 23 seconds. 28 for Martin. Well, I suppose when you're behind, you're having to do a lot of thinking time. In one century, and that was made by Martin. You could do with a couple of them early on this morning to try and get some kind of foothold in the match. But of course, he's playing somebody who's been there, got the T-shirt 4 times, and recognised by all as the best match player we've ever seen.
Yeah, you mentioned about the time it's taken Martin there, 28 seconds, but you tend to think a bit more when you're stuck in the balk area a lot, John, don't you?
Yeah, it's certainly not straightforward. And here's an example. Well, that's clever. Normally, the player would try to finish it out. Well, with a little shake of the head, he just was an inch short. Tried to get it up behind the green. As I looked over at John Higgins and I saw a slight grimace. So even 7-2 in front, he's still disappointed if he doesn't get it inch perfect.
Yes, he'll be concentrating like mad in this first frame just to dampen any fire Martin Gould has left in him. To go 8-2, it starts to look totally forlorn for Martin. So this is a massive frame. John Higgins knows that, all the experience of being a match player. Can't give your opponents any encouragement. Whilst there's a little safety exchange going on, John, I mentioned before with Jason that John Higgins had backed the Gold Cup winner size, and John, I have to say congratulations to you. You told me the Grand National winner about 8 months ago. Well done to you.
Yeah, well done to one for Arthur. Second Scottish winner of the National. And didn't he win?
Hard held. Could be a Scottish double. John Higgins for the World Championship.
Yeah. And push one towards the corner. Now he needs the green to come to his rescue. It hasn't. The only thing you would say, he's got a pretty good length with the cue ball. If you play this at pace, chances potting it. I recognise that tune. John just puts the damp cloth on the cue to get rid of a little bit of stickiness.
Yeah, it's funny. This is a horrible shot he's been left with. Angle's all wrong for what he needs. And if it was Can't see how he can avoid any cannon here, really, if he knocks this in. He'll do well to avoid one.
Wow.
Yeah, where was that gap? Where did that gap come from? Good pot. It's amazing, this game. How did he get through there? And he swerved twice. Well, he's just got to try and nestle up behind the green. I mean, don't want to risk playing baulk cushion first. No, he's just making certain he gets a good cue ball. Just overhit it slightly. He should have stopped this escape route down the left-hand side of the table, as we look. Yeah, that's a better safety shot from John.
And it just shows you the standard of his safety play. No shots wasted with John Higgins. And you get some players, and he's still playing on the circuit, who just think putting the cue ball in the baulk area is enough. But he's always trying to put you in a position to force a mistake. And there's a difference in that. And there's the mistake.
Yes. Kissing the blue. Left the cue ball this side of the baulk line.
One.
Obviously you can play the yellow, but I think he'd like the blue back on its spot. I think that's the reason he's playing it. A bit more work to do with the cue ball. Couldn't avoid the green. So I don't think he'll be getting many more.
6.
Yeah, okay, could be made, but his main concern will be getting that cue ball back to the baulk end. This is a difficult plant.
John Higgins 6.
Excellent. Perfect length. Well played.
It looks like he's playing just a push up and down, try and leave the cue ball behind that red. It's on the top cushion. Not quite how he played it. Tried to get that tight in there, but don't know whether there's any jump. There maybe a red near the pink that goes, but That'll require top-class cueing. I suppose, John, at 7-2 down, you might be tempted, mightn't you?
Well, I think there's one thing clear in your mind when you're this far behind. You've got to come out and play well. Close. And I think sometimes you've got to give yourself a chance to play well. Just by refusing things and playing negative. I don't think you can get back into a match off from such a deficit. He knows what he's got to do, Martin. That was a tough pot. But he took it on. And he didn't leave anything, and it'll be a red over the corner here now. Can he get through to it? Well, the brown may have covered it, as you see, but a little swerve, cushion first, who'll pot it. The only problem is, he won't be certain where the cue ball's going to finish. He'll need a bit of luck for position.
Yeah, it's quite a decent swerve. Nearly three-quarter ball covered, so got to get it right. Main priority here, as ever, pot the ball. You don't get position, just play a good safety, but knock it in. Well done. What? And I tell you what, we're settled for that.
Yeah, that's a bonus. But he'll need a little run of the ball, a little help from his opponent to reduce this deficit. Anyway, he's got a good chance here to build up a useful lead. Frame winning opportunity. Well, that's a tough call, but just concentrate and try to get as many points in front as you can.
Seven.
You know, good clean pot, but I don't know whether he's quite got enough out of the cue ball to get the right side of the blue. There we go. Now just slightly off, just a run through for the red on the right-hand side now. If the pink pot's in the top left-hand pocket as we're looking at the screen, that'll be ideal.
12.
And it obviously does with that positional shot, so nice chance.
Yeah, good signs. Struck that one beautifully right in the heart of the pocket and never looked like touching the sides.
Yeah, we were commentating together the other day on that Gary Wilson match, weren't we? There's another one, looking at Martin Gould cue up there, John. He's another one who's predominantly left-eyed. You can see when he cues up, it's
90.
that's where he's lining up on. You always have one that's stronger than the other, so you can see the cue.
Always amazes me, though, with his glasses. It's as though he peers over the top of them. I mean, when you think all the trouble that, for example, Dennis Taylor had getting the correct pair of glasses that he could play in. Yet Martin wears glasses and looks as though he's peering over the top of them. He used to have the swivel lens.
26.
Yeah, don't tell me he's looking through the
27.
glasses there. But it works for him, and he's become one of the most dangerous players on the circuit. Vastly underrated, in my opinion.
Yeah. And if those glasses are working, John, get me a pair.
Thirty-three.
Well, he's decided to play for the black. Not certain where the black will go after it's potted. The green spot is available. as I say, it's one of those situations, OK, you'd love to win the frame at this visit, but just don't miss anything easy and get what you can. Oh, well, it's played that absolutely superb. I think the black won't be available when it goes on its spot, but boy, he couldn't have hit that any better. Look at the top
21.
spin.
Yep, shot of the morning, that one. OK, there hasn't been many shots this morning, but that's the best one.
42.
Can't wait for the next one. Well, I said when he first came to the table it was going to be a tough call for him to win the frame at this visit. It's looking likely now. Just the start he was looking for.
48.
Couldn't agree with you more. This has been a fabulous
49.
break. I, like you, looked at the table and thought, OK, there's a few reds available, but that shot on the black was excellent. But there's a crispness about the strike this morning from Martin Gould. He's hitting the ball very well. Lots of authority. Certainly better than yesterday. I watched quite a bit of that yesterday, and well, he got off to a poor start, 4-0 down. In fact, 5-0 down.
56.
And he was a little bit at sea. But already this morning, the cueing looks a lot more assured.
$56.
So, red and a colour. As soon as he pots this red, there'll only be, well, just the red, because there'll only be 51 remaining.
63.
This red will put him 59 points in front. And get him to the 2 snookers required stage, but well, if he was to make a century here, this would be special. Terrific break, this. And just the start he was looking for.
$71.
Now, if this cannon goes
72.
right, we could see the century. His second century of the match.
Yeah, nice screw here, plenty of side. Try and run that red along the cushion if you can get in there behind it. That's the one. Well, he got a little bit of a gap there. Maybe able to drop it in.
79. $80.
Yeah, couldn't do much with the positional side of the shot. Oh, good pot. Nice kiss on the brown. It's not a bad one.
Thing is, John, as well, everything's gone right in the middle of the pocket this morning. There's nothing sloppy about it, is there?
No, and as a player, you always feel good when you find in the middle of the pocket.
88.
And even as mentioning it, can't stop them. So he's in fine fettle, over to run a little bit to work to do with the cue ball here. Lovely positional shot.
94.
We've already had 18
96.
century breaks in the championship so far. This brown for 19,
99.
John, and there's not been many better than this.
I was about to say, John, I've seen quite a bit of snooker since it started, but I've not seen many centuries better than this. When he came to the table, it didn't look like he was going to clear up. Excellent.
Well played, Martin Gould. Very well played.
108.
He just lost his concentration, probably thinking about the next frame. John Higgins didn't do a lot wrong. Martin Gould, sensational century break. He's reduced his arrears now to 4, but he's put out a warning signal to John Higgins. So when we was talking about whether the possibilities of getting this, there was that shot on the black when he got on the black, which I thought, well, why play for the black? Obviously an opportunity, finished perfect. But John, the top spin here.
Yeah, and he's punched it with topspin as well, hasn't he, John? Just to widen the angle slightly and then let the topspin go forward. You see the punch there, see how it stops, and then it gets the topspin on it, and they split up absolutely beautifully. But they deserved to. It was such a well-struck shot. And on these pockets as well, you have to have plenty of respect for them. And here we're going to show you a shot here. And watch the topspin on this. We've got a black and white ball there to show you. There's it right through the cue. That's Stephen Hendry playing that shot. I'd recognise that cue action. See the way it stops, and then the topspin goes forward. And you wouldn't think in slow motion, John, it was going to get there, but it does.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's hit the red, stops, but as long as you got that top spin, it keeps spinning on the cloth, and look at the way that has kept going through, as John says. Because things like that, like the last frame, will not particularly perturb John Higgins. But
Frame 11. John Higgins to break.
certainly give a bit of hope for Martin. Sensational start for him. Not that much too thick. It's always a danger. Leave one of these mid-range pots. Players of this class with a hand on the table. Right in the heart of the pocket. There you go, 4'6" to the ball and 4'3" to the pocket, but good cueing.
Yes, had an excellent start to the season, John. He won 3 events right at the beginning of it and was in superb form. Still been playing well, obviously. Just you can lose the last, final frame deciders. Anybody can lose those. Lost a couple of those, and his game's still been all right. But I always think when he's got time to have a good preparation and put the hours in back in Scotland and turns up here over a distance of ground with these long matches, that's what suits him best. Yes, he can win those tournaments that are best of 7s, best of 9s and the rest of it, but John Higgins' game is suited to this longer format.
7.
And it was interesting when he came in, there was a couple of quotes saying how well he'd been playing. He usually keeps that to himself, but when John's saying he's playing well, you have to take notice.
Got into that. You'd have thought he'd have stunned on and off the cushion, and I'm certain that was the idea. Got into it too much and didn't bounce it off the cushion. Tricky blue, this. He's playing it pretty quick, but it's difficult, this. I was amazed he got down and played it so
John
quickly.
Higgins 8.
Yeah, you were right, John. It was very acute, that angle there. Always horrible. You're queuing across. Got to make sure you're in the middle of the white, and he's overcooked it. But it was the shot before. I agree with you. He wanted to play the screw shot onto the cushion, just got into the white too much. Another example of excellent cueing, and to pot that is tough enough, then to flick the red out as well. Very good. I think he might be struggling for another red. Well, there is one that goes there, you can see, but he's got to pot this and screw back off the cushion, and this requires excellent cueing to find that gap. Yeah.
Martin got 1.
Yeah, and that was a classic example there of not hitting the centre of the cue ball. He must have put a little bit of unintentional side, and particularly when you're striking down, and it's just pushed the cue ball into the black. That's why he hit it much too thick. Was in a way, he was a little unlucky to come that close to the cushion.
Well, this will be testing his eyesight, we mentioned before, John, because if he's just got the right-hand side of this pack to clip off, you've got to get these mighty thin. Anything thick here is going to contact the jaws of the pocket. Well, he'll settle for that. Not quite how he played it, but where it's finished isn't too bad. And in fact, where it's finished, the blue is blocking the left-hand side of the table off for John Higgins.
Can he get through to this red? He may be able to bend it with a tracer right-hand side. Another roll. I say it's all about fractions. Another roll, and he could have potted this red comfortably.
Oh, well. What a pot that
was. Yeah, absolutely stunning. I looked at him when he got down to that, and I thought he was taking that red on, because he obviously looked at the safety shot and thought, whatever I play safe here, I might be sticking a red up. So he decided, I'm going to attack. And the way he's hitting it this morning, why not? Once again, beautifully cued.
Seven.
Yeah, known as the pinner potter. And he deserves it after that opening red. That was sensational. I mean, you just concentrate on the blue. Can't see a lot of value. I mean, he'd love the black back on its spot, but wouldn't sacrifice your
13.
position for that. Just overscrewed that slightly. He could still cut the blue in and play a little cannon.
Yeah, just wondering whether he'll do that. There's a couple of reds that are out, aren't there? But if he takes the chance, he could bring the pink into play and maybe promote a few reds. The way he's finished, he may have to play that cannon now anyway. So he just needs a little bit of luck here. Well, He didn't bring the pink into play. That would have been a bonus, but he's certainly
18.
on a red, so the break's going to keep going. And of course, he knocked a couple of reds out into better positions. So as long as he can keep getting the right side of the blue,
19.
which he hasn't on that one, he should be able to score a few.
I always say, though, if you're going to be wrong side of the blue, be well the wrong side of the blue, which he is. And with the yellow not being on its spot, no problem there. You see, he didn't have the yellow to avoid, so it made it a little bit easier.
24.
Just a 17-point lead, so it's not a straightforward run to the line, but we saw in the last frame how well he's potting. And he needs to be right side of the blue this time.
25.
Just got there. Just got there. The right side of the blue line, on in this case, the left side of the blue line. There's the sidebar.
13.
60 points to target. Well, basically, he's looking for another 29 points from this situation. Only 2 reds available at the moment, so it's not an easy 29 points to get.
31.
Not the right side of the blue this time. Stunning between the green and brown here. Striking the ball well this morning, John.
Yep. There's a sound to it, John, and you can tell when somebody's hitting it with great authority because the back of the pockets make a particular sound, and as I mentioned, he's not hitting any jaws. Everything's very clean. This has been a tough break so far. Got to keep that concentration level up. Much more difficult when there's more travel in the cue ball.
That's another terrific shot.
37.
Well, that's unlucky. That really is. I mean, worse where you think he'd be on the yellow. I think he could pot this black, but so close to it. And it's, of course, an easy snooker. Go for the easy snooker.
Martin Gould.
Don't blame him for that. He's got a 30-point lead. And John Higgins will do well to hit a red here and not leave anything on.
Foul and a miss. Martin Gould 4.
Decision time here, John. Would you take the miss?
No, I'd play the pot. I'll tell you why I'd play the pot, John, because he can play it plain ball. Well, I'm surprised at that. He's got a yellow over the corner pocket. You know, you may, if John Higgins plays this properly, and there's a very good chance he will, you're going to have nothing. I would have been taking that one.
Yeah, that's what he's attempting to do. Just didn't get enough side on it last time. Well, this looks nice. This looks nice. Well, he didn't look coming off the back cushion, but he hit it, and as John said, probably now the wrong decision from Martin to have it put back. Well, definitely the wrong decision.
Yeah, I mean, any time you'd be given a free shot to nothing like that, and the way he's potted this morning, John, you'd fancy him 9 times out of 10 knocking it in. I'm really surprised he refused it. And as I say, the yellow was over the pocket. There was no position required. You were guaranteed to be on a ball.
Yeah, of course, we played in an era where the misrule wasn't as prevalent as it is now, and I think some players think, well, I've got him in a snooker here, I could get 20 points out of this snooker. Wrong way to think. But I see that a lot now, particularly when there's a couple of reds left on the table, you know, and they think if they get a good tough snooker, they can get past the winning line just by getting foul points.
You know, in that instance as well, if you're playing against someone who didn't know his way around the table, or someone was just totally attack-minded, then maybe yes, but you know this fella knows his way around there as good as anybody.
Mm. But you make your decisions, you stand or fall by them. They'll all be forgotten if Martin Gould can win this frame. Is he taking this on? He did. Now the red's running loose. Where's it going to finish? Well, he's left it.
John just checking there. I think all he's got to do here with the cue ball is just stun it. Leave the cue ball basically where the red is, because the yellow will go through the gap between brown and green. So just concentrate wholly on the pot. Oh. That was a surprise.
And sometimes when you're that close to a ball, once again, he's just not down the middle of the cue ball there, or sighted it wrong, didn't get in the line of the shot.
One.
Used all the pocket there, but in it went. And this blue, and I assume it, well, he's got to play the blue. Will put Martin 40 points in front with a possible 59 left, so he's still looking for 2 reds, 2 colours after this blue.
Yeah, positional side of this is not straightforward. Obviously, he's going to try and play this a little bit of screw inside, maybe try and get it between the 2 reds and the pink if he can. Or maybe flick one of those out. It was always a little tricky, that. Couldn't quite get into the cue ball enough to get through the gap. And if you played the cannon like that, the position could go astray.
Yeah, and it's one of those that after the event, you think, oh, I could have done with hitting it a bit harder, but that's after the event, and we're all wise after that. 40-point lead, it's not a bad one.
Yeah, I think if he can play a safety where he can put a red on the side cushion as well, I mean, it might be worthwhile just chipping off the one above. You think you can just see the edge of that and just push it on the side cushion maybe, or...
Yeah, because the other 2 reds, they won't pass the pink. We obviously can't see enough of that. Is he playing this red to the middle? I think he is. And got it. Wonderful shot. Wonderful.
Wow. He has potted some balls this morning. That was an absolute cracker. He's only going for anything to drown John this morning.
Well, I admire him. I mean, okay, there wasn't a lot of danger with that shot. He could have left the one that's tight on the top cushion. But he's given himself a chance to see how he's playing this morning. So far, he's playing well, and he must be very pleased. I'll take nothing for granted. And that's it.
14.
Snooker's needed. And John Higgins had a chance there when he had that red to this corner pocket, missed it. Didn't have much chance in the first frame this morning.
Twenty. 21.
Nice little shot here. Play this with a little bit of run inside, trying to make it hug the cushion. There you go.
28.
Every shot coming alive this morning for Martin Gould. In very good form.
Thirty-four.
The frame's over. He can't make a century break. He doesn't want to play this, really. Yeah, John said to him, don't bother, that'll do. You've done enough. So, nice to see a smile. But what a start this morning from Martin Gould. Absolutely superb. He's playing great snooker. He's still 3 behind, but you could say, match on. And boy, John, has he potted some balls this morning?
I mean, it's just been an exhibition of, well, apart from good break building, individual balls that he's potted have been just wonderful. I mean, this one, we were thinking, oh, is he playing safe initially? And then, wow, did he hit this one good?
And as we've said, right in the heart of the pocket.
Yeah, another nice medium range one. John had missed the red in the corner there, but got to cue these well. But there's one shot here. This one for me, John, is a peach.
Yeah, and a frame winner, hampered as he was, and it's always you have a tendency striking down, you can put a little bit of unintentional side, and once that went in, and once again didn't touch the side, and look at this. You said a hugger.
Yeah, a little bit of side on, just kisses it along the cushion. Beautiful shot. But he's really been very positive this morning. I've been hugely impressed with his cueing. Everything's had authority of strike. He's not quit on a ball. And he looks like he's come out with a purpose.
Yeah, John Higgins has left the ring just to compose himself. And that is the difference, I think, with Martin Gould, the way he's come out this morning. There's 2 ways you can try and get yourself back into a match. You can play ultra safety, not take any risks. But then sometimes I don't think you give yourself a chance to know how you're playing. Try and play well. He's only going to win this match if he plays well.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a balancing act, isn't there? As I say,
Oh, yeah,
you don't want to go gung-ho all the time.
No.
But what he's done this morning has been correct, hasn't it?
Yep.
From 12. I didn't go to break.
Of course, there's a possible 10 frames in this session. They play 4 before we get to a mid-session interval. So, 2 very important frames, these. Missed it on the way up. A scratch in the head there from John. He could have left an easier chance, I presume. Yeah, he was playing it with lots of left-hand side to try and swerve it to hit that end red. Missed it.
Yeah, he's pushed the cue ball out and hasn't come back. That's what's happened there. And all these little things will just be giving Martin Gould a bit more encouragement. Especially when you see somebody like John Higgins making a mistake on a safety shot.
One.
Well, if he can get through to the blue, he'll settle for it, but obviously he can't. He's a little unlucky there. I mean, I have to say that John was a bit fortunate to leave the cue ball near the side cushion, which meant that, you see, he can't get through at the blue. that meant that he couldn't do much with the cue ball. He had to trust a little bit to luck, and he's had none.
And that was a massive there, you know, as I say, if that just flicks out and he's on the blue there, John, what a difference that makes, because he's got momentum at the minute and he's scoring well. So he's going to take the brown on. A little bit tricky because he's also slightly hampered by a red that's under his arm there when he's playing. So this is one of those instances, do you, even though you've been attacking all morning, do you take this on, or do you just be a bit more prudent and play a safety shot?
Yellow ball.
I think he's playing safe. Well, that's the balance you were talking about. I won't disagree with that. He was a little unlucky there.
I'm quite impressed by that, actually. It's sometimes it's really difficult just to reel yourself in. You can be playing really well, knocking everything you're looking at, and you feel as if you should be making more from that opportunity, but he's been very professional there, just played the right shot, and so no, this is the right shot for this instance, and I'm going to play it.
Close. It's over 20 minutes now since John Higgins has potted a ball, and I think he may have left this red just to the right of the black. Or maybe not. It was close, that. I mean, he wouldn't have been on the colour, he was just trying to contain the situation. But he thought, well, if I'm playing a containing shot, I might as well play the pot. Obviously, Martin can't get through to the potting angle of the red that's immediately to the right of the black. Otherwise, he'd have played it by now. Well, is he playing the pot here? Well, he played the safety off that. It was always a bit risky to me, but...
Yeah, he just had to cover the one on the left, John, didn't he? It was that was what he was... Initially, he was going to play off that red on the left and just put it on the cushion, but he knew the only place he could hide the cue ball was up the right-hand side, so that's what he decided to do.
Yeah, he could have done with a better length with the cue ball. That was a very aggressive safety shot, and look at the length of the cue ball. Okay, an inch short, but a good one, a telling one.
Yeah, he's got a lot more to think about here. I'm just wondering about the red that's near the blue Martin could play off, but he's got to get a good white. Let's say with those two reds near the top left-hand pocket. That's the problem he's got. So there is a safety off that red near the blue, but you can't, unless you get a really good cue ball, you could be leaving yourself open.
Yeah, that's the shot that John's referring to. But you need a good cue ball. You need to find that ball cushion. And also don't hit it too thin and catch the bump of the middle pocket. He's missed the bump. Played it well. Very good shot.
Yeah, excellent that was. He's in a spot of bother. He did get very close to that middle pocket. That's made a huge difference not hitting that bump. He'd have been unlucky, but it does happen. Well, not as he played it, but as he left anything.
Yeah, it looks like that was a fortuitous kiss on the green. It had just run past the green. He left maybe choice of two reds that were possible.
Well, His long game and medium game has been excellent this morning, but there's a lot more pressure on this one, knowing you could be leaving something. The first one he's cued across. But has he been fortunate? Well, he certainly covered the one down the left-hand side. Both of those have been covered. John's already playing the red over to the right-hand side of the table, taking that pot on. All the hours of practice in your club. This is what it's for. Shots like this. Beautifully struck. He's missed a couple this morning, John Higgins, but I'll give him a bit more confidence. That was a beauty. And it's time for John to score now. He's seen Martin playing very well this morning, winning 2 quick frames. Needs to restamp his authority on this match.
Six. Seven.
Yeah, just a little overhit, but it's one of those shots that John's just played there where you're frightened of not getting up far enough for the blue. He's just overhit it, but the brown's available. Oh, actually the green is, so you can see both of those. Oh, and that's not the worst kiss.
10.
Yeah, it's not what he played, but it's an opportunity now in potting this red to play for the black, get the black on its spot.
$11.
When the black does go on its spot, it won't be available in either corner pocket. So he'd like to get on one of the reds that will stop the black going in the corners. Don't think you'll be able to get through to the red that will be immediately to the right of the black. But in moving this red,
18.
the black will become available into this corner pocket. No, he can't play for the black off this. But that's when you're thinking a few shots ahead.
20.
Once again, I think he went up for the blue, but rather be too hard than soft.
Yeah, I think he's got a good angle as well. Oh, the green looks absolutely perfect to me. Top spin, come down the table, and the red to the left-hand side of the black. In fact, there's 3 in a line there. The bottom one goes as well, but the one that's just above the black to the left-hand side would be perfect. And if he's on the bottom one, well, that is just perfect.
22.
Yeah, that's a bonus. As long as he pots it. You won't be taking it for granted, but this, getting this red out of the way, makes the black available into both corners.
Yes, it was quite a clever shot off the green there with Johnny.
23.
Sort of played it full-bloodedly and knew full well if he wasn't on one, he'd be on the other, and he's got on the perfect red. Whilst he's had a nice couple of little kisses and nudges in this break, it's still been really well constructed. I want to win the frame in this visit, John Higgins, just to stem the tide.
Yeah, needs another 32 points to get to the snooker's required stage. And it's hard to see where he's going to slip up here. Those three reds nicely in a line.
38.
He's got a red on the left-hand side of the table that's available.
$39. $46. $47.
Overdone that.
54.
They see it, 53 ahead, 75 remaining, 2 reds, 2 colours, bit more than enough, but he's given himself a little bit of work to do here.
Yeah, he's about nearly a foot too far with the cue ball there. Played in the area where he leave himself on both reds, but still expecting to pot this, but a bit more on it.
He's recovered the situation beautifully there. Good pot, good position.
55.
This black will put him 61 points in front with 67 remaining, so this black, one more red in the colour. And he's got his first frame on the scoreboard this morning.
Snow started off with that excellent mid-range red. Lovely crisp pot into the top right-hand corner from John Higgins. Lovely when they go in. Players spend hours playing these shots. And that's what it's for. When you're in the heat of battle, you need to knock one in.
Pink spot not available. The highest available when it goes on, and that's the
61.
yellow spot. Won't matter to John, just a red in the cover needed.
Yeah, good thinking that though, wasn't it? You know, he's all
62.
tuned in there. How many people had noticed there that the pink wasn't going back on its spot as well? So decided that was the way he was going to go about it.
Yeah, he's taken these very well, considering he's not had much table time so far this morning, but that's what all the great players can do, of course. They can be frozen out. I think it was about, it was over 20 minutes since he potted the ball, and then first chance he gets,
69.
he wins the frame. He's a class act, always has been.
I'm a big fan of his cue action as well, John. I always like watching John play. Lets the cue do the work. Become a modern phenomenon that people have gone more compact and tighter into the cue ball, but John lets the cue do the work.
77.
I've never seen him decel on a ball yet, so if I was teaching someone starting off, I'd
78.
prefer this cue action. Nearly comes off his bridge hand, he takes it that far back, but there's plenty of cue to go through the ball and it's always smooth.
Yeah, I know you worked a lot with Frank Callan. Do you think he was the one
85.
that first got this real long draw back and pause?
I think John, probably from years of practicing with Stephen Hendry, because obviously Stephen was with
86.
Frank for a while for when he won his
And he went
championships.
to see Frank, yeah.
Yeah, and I think John was obviously picked that up from practicing with Stephen and watching, and Frank was very much an advocate of letting the cue do the work, and well, no better advert for it than seeing Stephen win those championships, and John Higgins as well.
And Steve Davis went to see him, and yourself.
Yeah, Ken Doherty for a little while, so He coached 7
94.
world champions, did Frank. Sadly passed away last year. Right character. Loved his snooker.
So, the 20th century
100.
so far. Last year,
102.
the record number of centuries was equal. I think he's going to be bettered this year.
Yeah, it's a good shout. I hope so, John. It's better to watch, isn't it? People making
105.
100 breaks. It's
Yeah, as long as they're not every frame. I like to see the close frames. But this has been an excellent contribution. I think he's just played one poor positional shot
109.
and made light of that.
yeah, this has been top draw.
114.
That's why he's the champion he is.
Good shot trying to come around. Where's the cue ball going?
120.
Perfectly on the black. Wonderful. Well, we've been treated to 3 marvellous frames so far this morning. It seems to be all Martin Gould. John Higgins showing what a competitor he is. He's 4 ahead again, 8-4. Impressive record, that, isn't it?
Yep, not many better. I always say, John, if you're a multiple champion here in the Crucible, and they're very rare birds indeed, aren't they? If you're one of those, you're in with the greats.
Yep, absolutely. This was a shot that was a key, wasn't it, the way he judged this?
Yeah, I thought this was played really well. I mean, the one thing he couldn't be with this was short, but the way he played it, he knew that the red above the black, yes, that was the one I called first, but if he could get on the bottom one, that was an even better choice than I picked. And if he could get on it perfectly for that, once he's potted this, he's opened up the black to both pockets, and he couldn't have struck it any better. And I think really that was the key shot to the frame.
Yeah, absolutely. As you say, he couldn't afford to be short, and I think that was in his mind, that don't be short, and if anything, you can be a little bit harder. Anyway, it was a perfect positional shot
Quiet, please.
and set
Thank
up
you.
a wonderful century.
Quiet, please. From 30. John Higgins to break.
Mid-session interval after this frame. 3 marvellous frames we've seen this morning.
Oh, and there's nothing worse than doing that. You've just played a great frame, you've made yourself a century, and all of a sudden you make a break off like that, stick the red towards the middle pocket, and you can see it in John's face. He's annoyed with that.
Yes, and the red's gone in. Now he's going to finish close to the cushion, so he needs a nice angle on the blue. And that's not bad. That's not bad. Didn't have to do much with the cue ball, just roll the blue in.
Yeah, I think he'd probably play for the red that's at the back there, near the black. Seems like he's got enough angle to just come off the side cushion and be on that one.
That's a good shot. Tight under the cushion. I mean, John, JP here was known as one of the best players off a cushion. Me, I'd be just content to drop that in dead weight, I'll be honest with you. But he cued it beautifully.
7.
It's amazing how your mind thinks, isn't it, when you, because you'd have played that shot exactly as Martin did.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough, blessed to be able to play off cushions. I never really would it. Willie's always given me stick. He said my position was always there. That's why I was on it. So, but no, I just
14.
one of those things. I've never had any problem with it. But he struck that lovely.
Okay. 15.
Played that okay. He only was going to say okay. He'd like to have been maybe another 6 inches away. I prefer playing the screw shot on that type of shot. You just feel as though you got a bit more control. Well, he's opened up the reds. It's all about potting this black and getting nice position on the next red.
I'm just wondering, John, when he's going to play a little stun up into the 3 reds, a little cannon there. I don't know whether he can just drop this in and get on one, but yeah, that's the shot. If you can get that, it'd be ideal.
Could have just done with catching it slightly the other way. Don't get me wrong, he's got a red to the left middle, he's got one to the right middle.
22.
But just a little bit tricky, particularly the one to the left middle.
You know, I think that, John, was a case of he's always almost hitting the ball too well this morning, isn't he? You know, he got into that beautifully. It was a good solid strike again. He just wanted to just hit that just to the other side slightly. Would have been perfect for the bottom red. And now this is trickier with the cue in.
Yeah, I just think that he can't get the right side of blue. If he plays this one, naturally you would thought be on the black, but this is a trickier red, slightly blind pocket. But it's there, no problem. And now back nicely in position. And this, as I say, the frame before the mid-session interval. It's a big one. And as long as he can keep John Higgins 2 frames away from victory, he's got a little bit of room to manoeuvre.
Well,
Sit.
I don't think that was entirely how he played it, but he'll take it. This has been a fabulous little mini session this morning. It has to be said, the standard is superb. Are they paying us for watching this, John?
Yeah, it's been absolutely marvellous. And proof of what we say, 94% pot success for Martin Gould this morning session, 91% for John Higgins. It's been wonderful stuff. And take your hat off to Martin Gould, playing one of the best players that's ever picked up a cue, coming into this 7-2 behind. And he's had such a good approach to the match. And that takes a bit of doing. Just let the cue ball run loose there.
Yes, and once again he's going to be relying on a little cannon here. You can't really guarantee his position, so pot the black, that's the main priority. Keep yourself on the table. Just hope you can get a little cannon that keeps you in position. But it's not straightforward. Well played. So he's got one in the middle and one in the corner.
44.
And if you can just win this frame in one visit, which is a distinct possibility you can, it'll make him feel good at the mid-session interval. Nothing like winning with one visit, John, is there?
No, just another 25 points needed.
45.
Striking down. He'll settle for the blue to the far corner. That's okay. He's not done a lot wrong this morning, but just shows you he made a wonderful century. And he plays the break off. Just caught that end red a little bit too thick. But sometimes you think, well, maybe the reds weren't set up right for that red to appear. You know, I mean. But it looked, when we saw it then, he'd hit it too thick.
I think.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think that break-off thing, John, it happens quite a bit after you've just done something really good, doesn't it? You know, it tends to, there's a little dip in your concentration. You just made a century, you've stamped your authority back on the match, and then you don't quite concentrate enough on the break-off. And you sit there in the chair thinking, why did I do that?
Yeah, and we've all done it. Just drop your guard for a second at this game. And the worst thing is you have to go and sit down and suffer.
This has been excellent stuff from Martin Gould. Well, excellent stuff from both players. Really is a cracking session.
But I'm just impressed with the belief he's shown this morning.
Yep. I was bizarrely before impressed with the safety shot he played. I thought that was one of the best things I'd seen this morning because he was playing so well. You know, he just pulled his horns in and said, no, this is the right shot.
I remember the shot when he refused the pot on the brown.
Yep, that to me shows someone thinking clearly. The right shot is always the right shot.
$58.
That's black. One more red in the colour. When they started this morning, obviously they'd love to have won the 4 frames that they played. But, well, he played a poor positional shot. But if he gets out of this 3-1, he's done some damage. But poor positional shot, that one, John.
Yeah, and the one thing you had to err on the side there was actually being a little bit too far, not short. You see, if he just plays up, the higher he goes up the table, the more he's going to be on the red in the corner and the one that goes in the other corner. So the one thing you couldn't be there was short. And this is a tricky pot. Might not look it on your screens, but it's quite acute. And the problem is getting position off it. Might have to flick a bit aside on this, so got to be careful.
Oh, and that flick on the second red has worked out perfectly. Scare over. John Higgins looks now for all money. He's going to, well, he started the morning session with a 5-frame lead. He's going to be cut to 3.
That was another good example, the last shot he played with that red, John. You know, to get ideal position, you may have had to put a bit aside on. He said, no, I'm going to just make sure I knock the ball in.
7th.
And I'll stand for where I finish. So, good thinking again.
$71.
Very impressive.
Yep, very good. And I don't think John Higgins will bother coming back to the table if this black goes in.
$78.
Well, we've already had 2 centuries out of the first 3 frames this morning. Can we see a third one? It's not beyond the realms of possibility.
Oh. 79. $86.
Just choosing to play this one. Little cannon should flick it out and stay on the pink. Well, if he pots it.
Well, what a pity that we didn't see a century, but it was more than enough. And Martin Gould should be very proud of that performance. He come out, no negative thoughts. He trailed 7-2. It's now, at the mid-session interval, 8-5.
Yes, and we shall be back there live shortly. The players now on a mid-session interval. John Higgins, four-time world champion, needing 2 frames to book his place in the last 16. But this is some spirited fight back from Martin Gould, all very much to play for. An interesting tussle on the other table this morning as Stuart Carrington of Grimsby is taking on Liang Wenbo. And Wenbo, who beat Judd Trump to win his first ranking title back this season last year in the English Open, has a real chance to do something here at the Crucible.
Well, somebody Peter knows very well, and he's practiced with a lot, Liang Wenbo. Great to see him back.
Yeah, absolutely. Really nice lad. Incredibly talented. Very excitable character. And I think he's brilliant for the game. Absolutely fantastic for the game. He's such a good player, it's incredible. His technique is quite unusual because he's incredibly close to the cue ball with his bridge hands, which means that the back end of the cue is up just a little bit, which is not ideal. Yeah. But he scores so heavily, and his cue ball, certainly in practice anyway, is so good. I mean, we recounted before, he played a best of 9 against somebody and had 3 centuries, a maximum, and a 90, which is just unbelievable stuff, and I'm so pleased for him that he's won his first big tournament.
Now, you mentioned his technique, and of course, I think he's right in saying he's right-eyed, isn't he? And he's left-handed, so the whole thing's a little bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very strange, and sometimes he can come across the ball, and sometimes he can twitch under pressure, which I think we've all done, haven't we, from time to time. But it is noticeable with him, so I'm sure he will be working on trying to keep as still as he possibly can in the future, especially under pressure. Seriously talented player, though, and on his game, he can beat anybody.
He is excitable though, isn't he? I mean, we saw it some of the, trying to get over the line in a couple of the tournaments we've watched. He's moving all over the place. He's up off the shot before he's hit through the cue ball. I mean, all brilliant to watch, but I'm sure something he'd like to get control of.
Absolutely. I just love his celebrations when he wins. I mean, to be able to jump up in the air and his feet come above the table, I thought that was incredibly impressive. But, he's a very athletic sort of guy, and I know he's done a lot of running in the past to keep himself, really fit for the circuit. He really is one of the best players that China have ever produced. Perhaps he's been in Ding's shadow for quite some time, but the fact that he's come out and won a big tournament now, let's hope he can kick on.
Yeah, because I remember being in a commentary box with Dennis Taylor a few seasons ago, watched Liang Wenbo play, and I thought, wow, you're the next big thing. Yeah. And then he disappeared for a while. Where did he go?
It can happen, can't it? I mean, you name one player, one top player that's been there for a long time that hasn't had a bad season or two, where you think, what's happened to them? And all of a sudden, they learn the lessons that they need to learn, perhaps work a little bit harder again, perhaps get their mind right, perhaps take on a coach, and then they give themselves every opportunity to come back and be stronger than they were before.
Yes, and Liang Wenbo used the pain of losing in the 2015 final of the UK Championship to finally join snooker's elite. He lost to Neil Robertson in that final 10-5, and there's a real feeling that he could make it all the way through to the semi-finals this year at the Crucible, and if not, the final. We join it in the opening stages. Your commentary team is Dennis Taylor and Ken Doherty.
Well, that was the only red he could really leave on. There was one at the pack as well, but didn't expect it to hit the far jaw of the middle pocket. First chance now to Liang.
One. Yeah, I think that shot that Stuart took on, it was so awkward, you'd maybe only give yourself 2 out of 10 chance of knocking it in from that angle. Liang didn't get enough pace on that pot there. He's left himself awkward. And the white have ran through another 6 inches. It would have been an easy pink into the middle. Now he's having to take it in the corner. And that's nowhere near the pocket. So a little bit of an edgy start there from Liang. Bad miss from Stewart there. Look at the chance he had. He got himself nicely on the black, but there's a bit of a slip up there. Wow. And that only just went in. Any more pace, that would have stayed out. Few wobbles there. Another couple of wobbles from the blue before safely staying down.
6. 7.
But now it's developing into quite a decent chance here. There's what, 4 or 5 loose reds.
$14. 15.
He's got a nice angle on the black here, but he won't go into the reds. Doesn't have to here. Still got 4 loose reds available. May take the red near the left centre pocket.
It was one of those situations where he was playing for virtually 3 reds. There was 3 reds available to him. Sometimes you do that, Ken, don't you? You're playing into an area so that you're giving yourself options.
Yeah. Again, he can try and get on 2 reds. One that's to the left of the pack of reds, or the one over the left centre.
$31. $36.
I like watching Liang Wenbo play. He's got a bit of a swagger with him when he goes round the table, Ken. You know, he's a very modest lad, but he just, you know, he walks around the table.
He's a bit of a stomper, isn't he?
Yeah, very confident around the table.
Last available red now, left of the pack, and if he's got a nice angle, which he seems to have, you can just brush off the side
40.
of the pack, maybe with a little bit of pace, and bring 1 or 2 more reds into play here. Yeah, there's 2 has come out, so that's
41.
nicely done. Have a quick look at the scores.
48.
But he's going to need the 2 loose reds and 1 more
49.
to secure this first frame. Played that well.
56. $57.
Well, I'm not quite sure whether he's having a look to see does the red go into the left centre. Well, he's got a nice angle. He can screw into the reds if he wishes, but he's Looks like he's a little bit reluctant to do that. He's got a perfect angle. He may take the red up into the yellow pocket after this black. And that's what he's done. He likes to pick off the reds from the bunch in his break. He's not one of these
64.
players, Dennis, that just wants to smash the reds open straight away.
Yeah, and he only needs this to secure the opening frame here. Looks good. Right in the centre of the pocket.
65.
Played that with top spin. No side on the cue ball there. And just slipped off the reds rather than hitting them full ball, but the frame is safe, and this red may cut
70.
into the middle pocket. If this goes in, chance of a century. No century, but you'd have to say that's a very good start from Liang Wenbo. Stuart Carrington stays in his seat, and that break of 71 gives the Chinese player the opening frame. It's 1-0.
Yes, a very solid start by Wenbo. Let's show you what happens in frame 2, and it's Liang to play.
Oh, it's gone completely wrong. Now just a red required for Stuart Carrington.
He's had a slight result. He's hampered by the blue here, Liang Wenbo, and if he's dead straight, he can't do a lot about it. But it's funny, the old snooker gods, we keep saying sometimes, never forgive you. And that easy black that he missed off the spot is coming back to haunt him here. Just needed to drop this in, didn't have to get on the colour. Just the pink's the only thing that's going to possibly come to his rescue, you'd have to say here.
Yeah, just going back to that red, Dennis. I don't know why he didn't just try and drop it in and give it a chance for the red to drop into the pocket. He only needed the red. It was like he was trying to get out onto a colour. Just have a look at this red again. Now all he has to do is drop it in, give it a chance to drop in. If he plays that a little bit slower, that might have gone in off the angle of the pocket. And
as I said, the pink is the only thing that can come to Stuart Carrington's rescue. It all depends on how he gets onto that pink.
yeah, I think if you land somewhere around that balk line, you're going to...
Well, I'd be liking to play in there. I've got two whites up anywhere in around there. You give such a chance for the pink to the middle or the pink to the corner. But he's got other options also available. But that's where he's played over to.
17.
And that's not bad.
He's nice and straight on the pink, isn't he? But he's not going to be able to get close to the black. So it's going to be a black from mid-range distance. There you see, he's just eyeing it up, and he's such a good long putter. He's got every confidence of taking that long black on, but there may still be a little bit of hope for Stuart Carrington.
But he's a left-hander, which helps as well here.
23.
So black for this second frame. Straight in the middle of the pocket. Very relieved. Liang Wenbo takes the second frame of the morning session, the longest frame in the tournament so far. And Stuart Carrington,
Quietly, please.
very, very disappointed, but it's the Liang who leads by 2 frames to 0.
That happened a short time ago. If you want to carry on watching that match live, it's available on the red button, but obviously we'd prefer to stay here on BBC Two. Watching Liang Wenbo, how do you rate his game, John, at the moment?
Oh, he's a fantastic player, isn't he? But he went missing for a few seasons, and then he got his game back again and reached the final of the UK, didn't he? And he's a very dangerous opponent, very good scorer. I think it's probably a decent draw as well. I think Stuart's struggling a little bit with the atmosphere at the Crucible at the moment. You know, he knocked out Mark Williams, and I think if you ask Liang, being honest, he'd sooner play Stuart than Mark Williams.
However, John, there is a chance. Obviously, it looks like Ding is booking his place in the last 16 today. Liang, if he wins this match, takes on Ding Junhui, and that is going to be one heck of a tussle.
Yeah, and of course they've practiced for hours and hours together, so maybe they might not have practiced before this championship. They might have kept away from each other because there was a prospect of both playing each other second round.
So listen, you're commentating on this match between John Higgins and Martin Gould. Martin's still in this?
This is a fantastic match. The session this morning has been superb. There's been plenty of century breaks in it. John Higgins has hit the ball well, hasn't done a lot wrong, but Martin Gould's been excellent, and his shot selection's been very good, very positive. But at the same time, he's also, when he's had to play the safety shot, he's thrown a good one in as well. But it's been a very good session this morning.
Good stuff. I'll let you go. You've got to get your trainers on and run back to the commentary box.
Okay, see you later.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, John.
Frame 14. Martin, go to break.
Mid-session interval over. This match will now be played to a finish. No more intervals. John Higgins needs 2 frames. Martin Gould needs 5. But every credit the way he's come out and fought this morning, Martin Gould. Well, decent safety shot from John. No easy path back to the baulk end, unless he can just get past the blue to that red on the left-hand side of the table. He's had another look, he's had a few looks. Must only be the edge of the red. He probably didn't think he could hit it that thick. Catching the blue was dangerous, but that yellow has come to his rescue somewhat. This pot's on to the right corner, but John's going to be hampered by the yellow. Might just put him off playing the pot. If the yellow wasn't there, he'd play it, no doubt.
Well, it looks like he's decided that he is. Maybe his thinking is that if he just runs through a little bit on it, the only one he could really leave was the one he's taking. Brilliant. Oh, I say brilliant. It's a great pot. Unfortunately, just lost the cue ball. Tough enough pot that was, as John rightly said, being hampered. All frames here at the Crucible are big, but this one is massive. 9-5. John Higgins will be thinking he's more or less home and hosed. Martin Gould would be extremely disappointed. So, but 8-6 is looking a little precarious.
And a better shot to Martin went with flick the yellow. This makes it a lot easier for John with his hand on the table. Who's going to get the first chance? Always interesting, these tactical battles at the start of a frame. And the way both players have performed this morning, even though Martin Gould has won 3 at the first 4, John Higgins has played his part. Made a marvellous 1-2-7 in the 12th frame. Oh, but this is a good shot. This is excellent. Couldn't have played that much better. And a little tap on the table from John Higgins in appreciation. Couldn't risk trying to get back to the ball, Ken, so just a containing safety. A bit disappointed with that, because I've had a better cue ball. John just checking, not looking for a plant so much, just making certain he does not want over towards the left corner.
Yeah, always a strange frame when the brown's off the spot, because not many places you can hide the cue ball there. He'll be playing up behind the yellow. That's about what he's got as a target. And it's a very good shot as well. Nearly got the pop, but that wasn't what it was about. It was getting that cue ball up behind the yellow. Well, this has got to be thin, whichever way you hit it.
Yeah, and if he hits it thin enough, he could pot it. And he has done. Is that a good flick on the blue? It's not a bad one. It's not a bad one.
You bet it is. Wow. Great pot, though. Didn't think he could cut that in. Excellent. But the flick on the blue, what a bonus that is. An absolute natural angle. Now, what shot does he play? Does he try and go into the reds? Or does he come round and play on a loose one? Oh, you can't miss the blue, Martin.
Martin, go 1.
Very surprising.
Yeah, but how many times do we say, when you look at the shot, they look very easy, but it's quite an acute angle. It wasn't that acute, to be perfectly honest with you, and he'll be very disappointed to have missed that opportunity after the excellent opening red. But the way the balls are situated, it might not be that costly. This isn't an easy table by any means.
One.
Wow. Settle for the last place there. Looked like he could have been on nothing. But then coming off the other one has just put him on the black. As you quite rightly say though, John, it's not a nice table at the moment. Blue's off its spot, which always makes a difference, and brown on the side cushion. I don't think John's going to be on anything after that when the black gets spotted. And that could be under break.
8.
Yeah, just needed that cue ball to run up fraction further. One of those situations when the referee spots the black, you want to say, thanks, ref. It's like the referee takes great pleasure in slowly putting the black on its spot. I'm sure he doesn't, but as a player you feel that. So that missed blue only cost him a few points. Just caught that a little bit too thick, that's why he's only, well, not quite reaching the baulk line. John coming round to have a look what's available. If the blue passes the red to the right corner, he'll take this red on. And it does. Not much margin of error, but you'll feel that the only red he could leave him playing this is the one he's playing. And good solid pot.
1.
And perfect on the blue.
Now, that was always looking like the shot. And here you see it again. It was beautifully cued. But where's his position coming from here? Is he going to go up the table and round?
Yeah, I think that's what he'll have to do. But with the yellow not being on its spot and the brown on its spot, not too many obstacles to avoid. Judge this nicely.
6. Seven.
Very good. Good cueing yet again. And from looking like an unpromising position a couple of shots ago, John Higgins pots this black. An easy red on the right, leaves himself an angle and up into the pack. And who knows, it might be enough to score enough points to win this frame. He's leaving himself a nice half ball angle here to stun up into the pack or screw into the pack, whichever way he sees it.
14.
There's the sidebar there, needs 64 points to be over the line in this frame. So a little stun
15.
up there, I would suggest here. And if this split goes right, good chance to win the frame.
Where's the red ball going? Oh! Now can he get past the blue?
22.
Didn't quite get into the cue ball enough, John, did he?
No.
Just tiny fraction off.
Well, he feels he can swerve around the blue to pot this red. So close to going in. Wow. He thought he could swerve around, but in the end he was very lucky to pot it. Very lucky. Lucky not to going off. Fractions. They favoured him then. And looks like the blue would just pass the yellow.
Well, if he's on that red and found the gap, that is an excellent shot. It might have looked like it's absolutely perfect.
28.
He'll be so pleased with himself with that shot, he really will, to find that gap. He got lucky with the one over the middle pocket, because I'm pretty sure he didn't play a double kiss pot.
29.
But he'll take it. But that blue was lovely.
This is the last of the open
35.
reds. Got a 43-point lead. Still a possible 83 remaining. So he's still going to need 3 more reds, you would have thought, to clinch the frame at this visit. So he needs a good angle on the colour off this red to try and bring those 3 reds just below the pink into play. Looking to see if one of them goes to the middle. Well, I don't think he's got the best angle on the black, but he may have a good angle on the pink. Although he's looking once again to see if the end red goes to the middle. It must be tight. But if he plays the pink, he can open them up. It looks as though he's got a nice angle on the pink, but he'd rather play this one because the black's unmissable.
Yeah, because it's virtually touching the other one or close to it anyway. He's just got to get in the right position. It's not straightforward. Just got to get that position in the right place so the red is potable. Had a look at it a couple of times and I think that's perfect.
And of course, if he pots this, he releases the other 2 reds into potable positions, and that would be sufficient. These 3 reds with colours.
43.
He'll be well past the point of snookers required.
This really
44.
has been a break of the highest quality. Okay, the red over the middle pocket, he was a bit lucky with the double kiss to get it. With the shot on the blue to find the gap. And the rest of it, the way it's been constructed, has been pure John Higgins. Wonderful control of the cue ball. I have to be honest with you, John, when he came to the table, I didn't think he'd be winning a frame from there.
51.
No, but it was a poor safety shot from Martin, and it just shows you at this level, if you don't find that baulk cushion, you're in trouble. And this to win the frame.
52.
Excellent snooker from the 4-time world champion John Higgins. A little bit of red button business for you now. If you want to continue watching this match, hit your red button now and you can continue to watch Liang Wenbo against Stuart Carrington. 2-1 to Liang as it stands on the BBC Sport app and BBC Sport website. We will of course be showing you the best of the John Higgins match very shortly when we return at 1 o'clock. Hazel will be here as we see Judd Trump for the very first time.
Well, there is breaking